Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, May 15th, 5:45 a.m. I am Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators, reminding you to be sure to smash that like button, give us a thumbs up on the video, and also give me some feedback in the comments if there's anything that you would like to see, any symbols you would like analyzed, any concepts you would like explained, just basically anything I can do to help you out in your trading. And with that, let us begin at the S&P 500, where we generally do. And the markets are, well, a little bit mixed at the moment. We had the big, huge down day the other day, and then yesterday, big up day, and now this morning, down. So, not surprisingly, there's a lot of conflict and confusion and uncertainty and all of that good stuff in the markets right now. And all of that points to, until the current political issues going on, all this tariff negotiation nonsense, until that gets sorted and resolved, that uncertainty is going to remain. But the fact is, looking at the technicals, we know what we're expecting. And what we're expecting is a 1, 2, 3, or ABC pullback. And it would be very reasonable for it to get down to, in this level somewhere. It would not be unreasonable at all. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. Of course, ultimately, all that matters is supply and demand. And if the buyers decide to come in and the sellers don't get aggressive, then the market will go up. If the sellers come in and the buyers don't get aggressive about holding their position, then the price will come down. It's just that simple. Looking at things on a shorter term time frame, clearly at the moment in the short term, the trend is down. We broke the trend line, the ascending trend line, a little while back now, a few days back, and have just headed down in a pattern of lower lows and lower highs ever since. So at the moment, that is where we are at. The bears are in charge. We have actually just also broken below the zero line again on the 60-minute. MACD line crossed below the signal line a little while back, a few hours back. And we've got a big red candle already shaping up nicely on the 60-minute chart. It's got about 12 minutes to go or so. It's looking pretty solid that is going to end up being a very down candle. And we'll have to see what kind of follow through we get on the opening bell in 45, 43 minutes or so. So the question is, do people decide to buy this dip? Right? Is this a buy the dip moment? Well, the fact is, if you are any kind of trained trader, you're looking at this and thinking, we are below the 50 SMA. That's not good. I wouldn't be surprised if we bounce up to test it, but then give up and head down. The oscillator is definitely below the zero line. MACD, of course, is also below the zero line and below its signal line. So all signs are to the bear side. At the moment, we are in a short the rally, sell the tip mindset. And that is likely to continue for a while yet. The 13 EMA has definitely turned over, is heading downwards. The 50 is pretty sideways right now. But that's what has to happen when you transition from an up market to a down market. You got to go sideways first and then roll over and head downwards. So we could be, I don't know, we could be upwards of a week away from a real push down. And that would also fit if this market comes up just a little bit more. That would give the 50 time to finish rolling over and then head down. And that is just what has to happen in a transition period between a bull market and a bear market, or even just a short-term correction. And right now, we are looking for a correction of this entire section here, the whole thing, because this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's looking like we're going to have our ABC correction and, like I said, bring us down into that area. Crude oil. Let us take a peek at what's happening in everybody's favorite oil market. And the answer is kind of not a whole lot. Price is just really in this little wedge area here. Oops, that's a little better. And it's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's going to end up shooting out one way or the other. Which way? That's what remains to be seen. Right now, the bears are in control. Oscillators below the zero line on the daily. So the bears are in control on this little pullback. But that's what this is. It's a pullback. And right now, it has pulled back to the 50. And it is testing right now. There's a big battle going on at this level, and you can see the bears pushed it below the 50, bulls pushed it above the 50, bears pushed it below the 50 again, and that level is really trying to determine the outcome of this fight. What's going to happen? Are we going to break upwards or break downwards? So right now, a wait and see on the daily charts on oil, as far as I'm concerned. The 60-minute chart also kind of messy. I mean, you can see it's very sideways right now. This is a choppy market at this moment in time, has been for a couple of weeks. And I don't know how quickly that is going to change, but certainly when it does, the new trend direction is likely to emerge. So just watch for a pattern of higher highs and higher lows to really emerge. Right now, that would mean breaking over this high to really be a higher high, and this low to really be a lower low. And anything in between those levels is just sideways noise. We've got to get above there on the 60-minute time frame to start anything significant. So keep watching. The momentum is kind of declining. We've had oscillator declining here. We have an oscillator declining here. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, because after periods of low volatility or low momentum, we tend to get a sudden explosion in volatility or momentum. So when this moves, I'm expecting it to really pick up and go. And it will be very, very interesting to see whether we have made an A here and we're going to do a B and then a C, or whether this is A, B, C. And now we're just getting ready for the next move up, maybe even with a 1, 2, and then upwards from there. We will have to see. We can't know quite yet how it's playing out, but those are the sort of the current possibilities that are running through my mind. Let's take a look at the gold market, and gold has indeed popped up. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting for it to maybe hit this 100% extension of this flag here. But for several analyses now, I've been saying it doesn't look like we're going to actually get that level. And then we sort of double bottomed here, and I knew pretty much we're done. Very unlikely that we were going to hit that 100% level at that point. But that's pretty close. So it got us most of the way there. And now it's looking like the breakout is to the upside. So we're just looking for higher highs and higher lows. So we need to form a lower, or a higher low rather, above that double bottom right there, or a higher high above this level here, and then just continue that pattern. The daily chart has popped above the zero line on the oscillator, and it's holding. So that is bullish. It's looking good for the bulls to be taking control of this market, which also fits with the bigger picture narrative of the trade war fears and all that stuff. If the market is uncertain, the S&P and the other markets are filled with uncertainty right now. Gold becomes the nice, certain safe haven. But take a look at what it did. It popped up and it went right to this level and then stopped cold. So we've got a sell zone up there, and price went right into it and just could not go any higher. So the question is, can it pull back, build up a new head of steam, and march higher? I'm suspecting that it can. We will have to see. Right now, it's looking a little unsure because we've got the oscillator way up here on that push up, and it is barely even above the zero line now. We're almost back to the same level. So that is seriously, massively divergent on the 60-minute. But frankly, if enough buyers come in, that won't matter. And price will continue upwards regardless if there's just more buyers, more eager buyers than there are eager sellers. So keep that in mind. It's all about what the price is doing. Indicators and all that good stuff are important. They are useful. They give us some valuable information, but we do not trade based on them alone. You got to trade on price action. Natural gas. Natural gas has started to move. It looked a lot bigger than I thought it was zoomed in like that. I was thinking, wait a minute, what the heck happened? Natural gas has gone crazy. But no, I was just zoomed in really far. So we are getting really close to crossing that zero line. And the bulls are really trying to take control back in a sustained way. And right now we've got what appears to be perhaps our first higher low and a break of the higher high. So things are looking bullish for natural gas. It's looking like the trend is wanting to pick up and head north. You can see here we have a really nice uptrend on the 60 minute. Definitely took out the previous lower high and is marching higher. So things are looking up in natural gas. That being said, we do have a steadily weakening oscillator. So I don't know how far this move is going to really have in it. But as I've already mentioned, that is just going to depend on buyers and sellers. And if the buyers decide they want this market bad enough, if they look at this and say, okay, that was a bottom and it's time to go higher, then the buyers can come in and they can push this oscillator up higher to get it over the zero line here. So on the bigger time frame, the oscillator still has plenty of room to go. So I'm not overly weighting this declining oscillator on the 60. I don't want to put too much emphasis on that because the 60, excuse me, because the daily chart is looking like it wants to head up. Now we do have the 50 SMA right overhead, so it would not be at all surprising to have price get to that, bump its head, maybe pull back, maybe take another shot, get above it, then pull back down, test, and then go higher. So watch for a break of the 50, a pullback to test it, and then a move higher. That is the classic pattern, and it's what I'll be watching for. All right, let's wind up with Bitcoin. And after just a meteoric rise, let me actually get this on the crypto sessions. We can see all the data. Same thing here, sessions crypto. There we go. So after this meteoric rise, almost straight up, we have gone sideways, and you can see it much more clearly on the 60-minute right there. Very sideways. But this is really standard Bitcoin behavior for a while now. You see, huge move up and then sideways and then huge move up. And I would not be surprised at all to see a few weeks of very sideways, choppy action. But as with everything else, and especially with crypto, if the buyers want it bad enough, that is not going to matter. The buyers are not going to let it just sit there if they decide they have to have this market. So it's looking like this sell zone here is holding. Certainly, price got up into it and is now rejected and is just hanging around below it. So it's going to take a good head of steam for this market to punch through that and challenge the previous high there. And once we see that, then we're talking about the $10,000 psychological level as well. That's a big one. Lots of people are calling for Bitcoin 10,000 now. And if that is achievable, if Bitcoin is able to do that in relatively quickly, then that's going to be a very big deal. And that is going to bring the crypto bulls out in a big way. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I don't think we're going to get there in one shot. I think we're going to go sideways for a little while and then just build up maybe some consolidation and eventually launch higher. We also certainly could pull back. At this point, we are frankly due for a pullback. I would not be at all surprised to see maybe a flag formation form, something like that, and then launch the next continuation to the upside. We'll have to look for that. I'll be definitely keeping my eyes open for that. I would not be at all surprised to see it, but we'll have to wait and see what the market wants to give us because at this point, boy, are we at an extreme. There's no question about it. All right, that is it for this morning's analysis. S&P, not really anything going on. Still about the same. We're still looking like we're going to close this hourly 60-minute candle in one more minute to the downside. And the oscillator has crossed the zero line to the downside. So for the short term, 60-minute anyway, it's looking like things are wanting to move down. But the long term also is bearish. The oscillator is below the zero line. Market is chopping around right now, down one day, up the next, down the next. So that is not at all uncommon when people are starting to get really nervous and maybe get out, but then other people are wanting to buy that dip, and so they're buying whatever these folks are selling. So we're in this zone here. It could chop around here a while longer, or today could be the give up moment and market head lower. I'm personally am looking, as I've already said, I'm looking for sort of the B leg of this correction. That's what I'm thinking is likely, most likely. So we might chop around a little bit, maybe pull up and then come back down, or maybe it just decides, all right, that was it. Maybe if this market is so scared, it just heads south. So we'll have to wait and see. Opening bell in 30 minutes. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. Once again, I'm Jonathan Van Clute with Stock Navigators, and hit that like button for us. Give us a thumbs up on the video and throw any feedback down in the comments, and I will very happily take a look at it. For now, I'm going to go get ready for our premium trading room in 15 minutes or so. And those of you who will be there, I'll see you there. Everybody else, I'll see you on Friday. Hope you have a great day today, great day tomorrow. Looking forward to the rest of the week. Take care.